You're a trader, right? And no doubt, just like me, you have the same big, audacious goal of wanting to pack in the 9 to 5 and do the trading thing full time. Travel the world, just bring back complete sovereignty, complete freedom, and live life on your terms. That's what you're doing it for, most likely, right? You're here, you're watching YouTube trying to get better, you're listening to podcasts, you're reading the books, you're absorbing as much knowledge, you're putting in the time on the charts because you know you are destined for something more and you want to quit that job, you want to buy back your time. And I know that feeling of wanting it so much and seeing the path and knowing you're probably only a few tweaks away from that end result being true and that being your entire destiny unfolding. I've been through this journey. I've struggled like you might be struggling now, and I've broken through to consistency and profitability. And I've continued that growth to be able to eventually quit my full-time job and make trading my full gig. And I've been doing that now since the end of 2021. That's been my full job is trading now. I achieved that big goal and I know that you can too. And I'm going to lay this out for you of what I wish I knew before quitting my job to trade full time because it has been a journey. And people on this space are quick to show you the glitz and the glam and the Dubai and the Lambos and the Rolexes, which don't get me wrong, are great at selling a Discord. But the reality of what trading actually was for me after I quit my full-time job was not talked about very much. It was a complete shock to the system, and I'm going to lay out my journey for you in the hopes that it's valuable because I know you will be quitting your job. You stick at this and you make those tweaks and you persist, then you will get there too. And it might be just around the corner, it might be a few months away, but it's worth every little bit of time you spend putting it towards this goal. It is worth it. I 100% know you're on the right path because this is my life now. And it was worth every sacrifice. So you probably don't know who I am. My name's Chanelle. I'm a 29-year-old day trader from New Zealand, currently living in Australia. I want to lay this out. This is my journey after becoming a full-time trader and achieving the big goal. Okay? So, first picture here. This is me trading whilst working a 9 to 5, where most of you probably are. Either you're working the 9 to 5 or you're at uni or you're spending your time doing something you don't really enjoy. You're not passionate about it. You're doing it to pay the bills, right? This is me. This is where I started, like most of you. This was what my computer office screen looked like, especially during my lunch breaks. I had the charts up where I wasn't being monitored. I was doing my actual work over here, and then I usually had stacks and stacks of self-development books in the background as well. But after a long, long journey of failure and success, I finally quit my job to trade full-time. 5 years in the making. 5 years, 3 of which were consistent losing streaks. 5 years, and I finally got it up. And this is the photo of the email I sent to my boss, quitting my job. This was it. This was the big moment, and I posted it on my Instagram back then. 6 years in the making, finally a full-time Forex trader. You can achieve anything, don't give up. So this right here is something I have manifested and visualized for 6 years at that point, 5-6 years. I had seen it in my mind so much. People say all the time, what did it feel like finally quitting? It didn't feel anything because I had lived in that moment for so long that it was just reality catching up. So it didn't feel grandeur. I didn't feel overly excited because I knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time. So it was just kind of like a normal day. But that for me was the big goal that I'd been working my entire 20s to achieve. Really grinding it out for all those years, and I had finally achieved it, right? I was officially retired. It was the only goal for me, really. It was the biggest and only goal that I committed to for 6 years, and it's a big goal for most of us when we start our trading journey, right? It's to free ourselves from the job, the boss, the circumstance that we don't like. So I've got 6 key points here to break down my journey after becoming a full-time trader that I think is going to really help you. The first one is the freedom paradox, right? The dream is, once I'm a full-time trader, I'll be free. There'll be no boss, no commute, no time clock, just me, my charts, and the life I've always wanted to live. Like that for me was the dream. No boss, no commute. Oh my gosh. Where I lived, Auckland traffic was diabolical. No time, no alarm, just the chance. And I would just live an easy breezy life and make my money trading. But in reality, I would wake up on a random Tuesday with nothing urgent to do. Like, wake up when I want. At that time, I was sleeping in pretty late, so like 9 a.m. Nowhere to be. So just go and meander around and eventually get to the office, eventually open up the charts. Okay, no trades are setting up. I've got no meetings today. No one's relying on me for anything. So you just sit there and you're like, oh, wow. All right, well, what do I do now? That was kind of my reality. You've got to look at it like to achieve this goal, you put everything else to the side and you tunnel vision and you focus on becoming this trader that when you achieve it, you're like, oh my gosh, I've got barely any friends. I've got no other hobbies. I've got no other interests. And you're kind of left with this like stark reality of like, oh, I don't know what to spend my. So for me, what I found is I needed some sort of structure. Freedom without some kind of structure is a trap. That like complete easy breezy flow by the city of ants. I think we are all goal orientated beings. We are honing missiles. We feel proud of ourselves and we feel content within ourselves when we are moving towards something. And when I achieved that goal and I had no real other goal to replace it, I had nothing to do. I had no movement. I had no direction. I had no momentum. So my first thing here is just be aware that the very thing you're working hard for, which is this freedom, the freedom lifestyle, can backfire if you're not prepared for it. You really do want to have a pretty good, clear plan in place about how you're structuring your day when you get it. For me, I would swing between two pendulums. Over here, I would overfill the time. So I would obsessively watch the charts. I would force sit-ups that weren't there. I would trade sessions that don't usually fit my plan. I would find opportunities that didn't exist, like overfilling the time. And then once I realized that that was bad, I would swing into underfilling the time where I would sleep in or doom scroll or snack, eat because there was nothing else to do, nothing productive. So I would either be overtrading or completely useless sloth, essentially. And I did that for a wee while. When I first went full time, I genuinely thought I was going to fill up my day with learning all these things I didn't have time for. I had a big list of all these like hobbies and skills I was going to try, like going to the gym and getting fit. And in reality, though, I went from having such a structured, busy life where I was planning my day in 15-minute allotments that the transition was far more difficult than I expected. And as a result, my trading actually suffered quite a lot from it. And I went on a 3-month losing streak. So it was the start of 2022 when I was officially off the clock, out of work, retired. And I had that quarter was the worst quarter I have had since I became profitable. So Imagine the hit to your ego that you do this big grand exit from your company saying, haha, I'm finally a trader, only to be smacked with a 3-month losing streak and a complete and utter collapse of your mental headspace. That's the reality I went through. And it brings me on to the next one, which is having another purpose or another passion or something bigger that you are passionate about and you want to focus on and do. I didn't have that when I quit. My only goal was quit, be a full-time trader, have no boss, just trade and make enough money to be able to live off. I didn't even care about making a lot of money. I just wanted to make enough money where I didn't have to work. Now, because I didn't actually have anything else I cared about, no other passions or purposes, when I achieved the goal of being a trader, I was left with like this empty feeling. I had nothing to progress towards. You know, the cringe of always like, oh, the journey is what matters. And you always sit there going, yeah, you can say that. You're at the end of the journey. But damn, now I'm at that point and I achieved that goal. It was like I was very happy in the journey. The grind towards getting better, that provided me with so much purpose. So yeah, so sure enough, everyone's right. The journey is the fun part. And when you achieve the goal, you are at the top of the mountain, and literally every single successful person that has a goal says it. They're like, get to the top, and they're like, ugh, now what? Like, it's true. So if you are through the journey right now, good. You're in the fun part. Like, you enjoy it. You don't have to rush it. Okay? You just have to continue through and you'll get to the end, but just make sure you've got something else. So now I've found a passion in making these videos. I found a passion in sharing and expressing my journey on social media and teaching other people. So I've got a trading community. So I teach other people, which I was very hesitant to start, and I've only been doing it a year, but it's actually provided me with a lot more purpose and passion and a whole new skill set. I've obviously now decided I'm going to make YouTube videos. Okay, cool. That's a whole new thing. Currently, I know nothing about YouTube. I know nothing about making YouTube videos. I don't even know how to make those cool thumbnails. So I don't at the moment. But it's like that there's a whole new learning curve and journey I'm excited to go on. And I would recommend you already have that now. So while you're learning to trade, already know what's the next thing, what's the passion or the bigger purpose, because you'll achieve your trading goal. And instead of falling into this like limbo, really kind of ruin your mindset kind of spiral that I did, I think having that already there is going to be really, really powerful. The third thing for me is quite simple. It's just having a checklist. You do want a checklist, and I'll give you what I think you need to have before you go full time. So, number one, at least 6 months, minimum 6 months of living expenses saved. And that's got to be completely separate from your trading capital. So, in a bank account, preferably one with a high interest rate if you can, and then completely separate from your trading capital, 6 months to fully cover, because you just don't know. I mean, you could have had win after win after win every single month for the last 3 years, let's say. And then as soon as you go full time, you can go on a loss streak, which is exactly what happened to me. Trading's now going to replace your income, right? Your old income. You need to be prepared that you're going to hit a red month. You're going to have a drawdown. So you need to have a little bit of a buffer to be able to carry you through if you do go through a bit of a dicey month or 2 months. Okay. You also need to know your numbers very, very clearly. Like, what percentage monthly return is needed for you to cover your life? I make everyone who enters my community do a golden number exercise. You need to start and reverse engineer how much you need to live or how much you want to live, fully covered for all your expenses for a month, and you need to reverse engineer how much percentage and how much capital you would need to make that happen. You need to be so hyper aware of those numbers and make sure you're hitting those numbers, right? And the last checklist I'd say is this is the side income. Okay. I mean, it does make things easier for sure, but it's not the route I took. So it's doable without it, right? Like, I now in the last year started teaching people, which I charge a fee for, and doing social media, which doesn't make much money, but the community makes money. And I have now a side income to supplement my trading. But I started that a year ago, and I quit my job 2021. I had a good 2-3 years where there was no extra side income coming in. And sorry, for me and my husband. My husband also trades. He also quit his job. He quit his job a year before me. We do the same thing. Both traders. And so we had no extra income coming in. Nothing. He didn't have anything else. I didn't have anything else. That was paying for our rent. That was paying for our food. That was paying for our everything. So I can sit here and say it's doable. Okay, it is doable to do it without any other income. You don't have to sell a mentorship. You can just trade and live, but it does take some pressure off. I went through some very, very, very stressful experiences in that first year after quitting my job, which could have been avoided. I think I know what I know now and what I'm talking about. If you do, you won't go through that and it will be fine. But it is an option to say have more streams of income. Of course, it's always good, but I didn't take that route, and it worked out for me. So you can just rely on trading. You just really have to know that there is levels to the mindset game. the mindset you attain and acquire to be a consistently profitable trader is impressive, there is another then mindset level you have to attain to rely fully on it to pay for all of your bills. Okay? So just know that there's levels. There's levels to the game. And quite honestly, a lot of people on here can't talk about that because they haven't survived just off trading. There's always something else. They've always had something else, which is smart. Like, it's a smart move. But I can tell you now that it is doable. You don't have to have another income. If you set yourself up properly to transition properly, it's completely doable. Okay. Number 4 is don't just trade. You need to invest as well. So I think I hear it. I've heard it a few too many times. It's people saying trading is passive. Trading is not passive income. Trading is active income. You need to show up and you need to press a button, multiple buttons, and that is how you make money. If you don't show up and take the trade, you don't make money. It's not passive income. You do, in fact, though, need passive income alongside trading. Financial freedom isn't just one goal. Financial freedom is 2 goals. One of my mentors taught me about this, and it was spot on. Stage 1 financial freedom is when you can buy back your time from the job, from the boss, from whatever. That's what trading can do. That's stage 1. So now you have active income, but it's your own thing. You're doing it yourself, right? You're not reliant on the job. Stage 2 is that you have enough funds, passive funds accrued that tick over. You don't touch it whatsoever. It gains more and more momentum, making you more and more money while you sleep. That's stage 2. You get that to enough where the passive returns, the passive dividends covers your lifestyle. Then you've got true financial freedom. Okay, so trading will get you to stage 1, but passively investing will get you to stage 2. And what I've done is a mixture of mostly index funds, ETFs, and very simply like a Vanguard, S&P 500, something with consistent good growth. S&P 500's got like a 8-9% average since its inception. Like, it's a very good return. I think that's what Warren Buffett says he recommends most people invest in. It usually outperforms most hedge funds. Like, it's just a good, safe kind of option. So, I mean, do your research, but that's what I've done. And buying it monthly. So buy into the market at a monthly rate. I don't use technical analysis at all. I don't use any of my trading strategies or edges. I would just take a portion of the money that comes in, I would automate it so it leaves my account every month, and I'd buy into the market. So if I am buying high, I'm buying low, doesn't matter, it equals out, right? Buying the market. If trading's quiet, your long-term investments will still generate returns. We all know we can all have a quiet month, a quiet quarter, even a quiet year, right? Okay, number 5 is lifestyle creep, which was a big one for me. So let's dive into lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is when your expenses rise in sync with your income. So you'll start making more money, start getting those prop payouts, you start spending more money, and before you know it, you're still living paycheck to paycheck, just with nicer things. When I started consistently pulling profits out of the markets, I was like, I am invincible. Like, I am so smart. Call me Warren Buffett. Like, I thought I was this, that, and the other. My numbers were up, the payouts were rolling in. I was passing accounts, I was getting the payouts. People were throwing money at me to invest. Literally, family, friends coming out of the woodwork saying, here, have all this money. You're doing super good. Can you invest my money? I finally had more money than I'd never had before, or I've never seen my family have before. Like, it was a completely new bracket of wealth for my entire bloodline. So naturally, I upgraded my wardrobe. My husband and I flew to Melbourne. We stayed at the nicest hotels. We ate at the best restaurants. We went all designer shops. I bought stupid $1,500 Balenciaga sneakers that are just so uncomfortable. It's not even funny. We were dining out. We were lunching. We were brunching, spending thousands of dollars a day on meals. Started buying things because I could and not because I needed them. Fortunately, I did fall into the trap of materialism. Quite honestly, I wish I could sit here and say that I didn't, but I did, and it almost sabotaged all of the things I worked for. Freedom really doesn't come from making more money. It comes from keeping it. Because I had been very smart, keeping my expenses very low for many, many years whilst I grew my trading account. I funneled all my money back into my trading, back into education, that when I finally, broke free of the job and I moved from the city, I moved to the mountains, and it was just like the floodgates were open. I was like, give me the credit card. And I bought anything I wanted. And it was terrible, because it lasts literally the high of it. As soon as you buy it, you're over it. Like, the anticipation was what made it fun. But as soon as you have it, you put it on, you wear it once, you're like, yeah, okay, that was $1,500 on sneakers. Cool. Good job, Chanel. What I do now and where I've got to now is I focus on the few key lifestyle improvements to upgrade that will improve my life. Because I'm not saying, like, if you want to make this money, obviously don't be like stringent. You got to spend money. You got to stimulate the economy. You can't keep it all tied up. There's a great quote of, oh God, there's a great quote. Who says it? If you do know, please put in the comments because I forgot it. And he goes, money's like manure. If you stockpile it, it starts to stink. But if you spread it, things will grow. And I just thought, yeah, that's exactly it. So I don't ever want to be like stringent. Like, I definitely want to spend money and give money and let it flow. I'm not holding on to it by any means, but I'm putting it in key areas that are going to improve my life or improve my family's life. So for me, one of them is awe-inspiring places to live. So that's a big one. We've moved around all over New Zealand and now in a lot of places in Australia, finding these beautiful, awe-inspiring places. Beautiful beaches, nature. We've lived in the mountains overlooking lakes. Like, we've lived up in the rainforest. We've lived in stunning places. And though they're usually the most expensive places that everyone wants to visit, but I'm happy to pay there because I like getting the awe from where I open my blinds and look out my window is important to me. Organic food, obviously another good one to spend money on. Delegation has been a really, really good one. So paying for a cleaner, paying for someone to do my laundry. Sometimes we have a private chef come and cook for us, especially in really busy kind of work heavy weeks and months. That's been a really good use of money. And then education, obviously. I still spend a lot of money on books, courses, masterminds. I'm always trying to upskill myself in every area. That's something. So those are kind of the main areas I'm going to spend money on. Travel's probably the other one I didn't put on the list, but it's more so about taking family and friends to amazing places and giving them experiences as well. Number 6 is document your journey. Probably my biggest regret of not doing this sooner. So I started doing the social media, doing TikTok and now YouTube and all that. I started doing that a year ago. But prior to that, I probably have about 10 photos in that 7 years, 8 years of trading before I posted. Like, probably 10 photos to show for it. So no videos, no nothing. I've got journal entries, but I really do regret not documenting the process of me learning. I wanted to back then as well. I did. I just didn't. I had a limiting belief, and I didn't think the world needed another trader. I was worried also about what people thought, which was insane. But I was worried that I wouldn't be taken seriously as if I was a social media trader or something like that. But I wish I had the foresight to be able to know how cool it is to reflect on your journey. It was very short-sighted. It really was, because now I'm posting things and I'm teaching over the last year and I've helped so many people and I get so many amazing responses, and I've improved in my public speaking and I've improved my video creation, and I've realized that I have a natural skill for infosynthesis, which is taking complex topics and putting them into kind of more digestible, simplified manner. So that's things I never would have known about myself if I didn't do this. Document, start now. Start posting. Even if you're not profitable yet, you can document from the student perspective. You'll be very proud when you look back and see how far you've come. I really, really wish I had. That's probably my biggest regret. Another long one for our second YouTube video. I apologize. There's just so much to talk about. And if you're here and you're watching and you get through a 20-odd minute video with nothing, like there is no special effects here, it's very raw, then, I know you're going to make it. Your dopamine's not fried at all. You're going to make it. You're going to be one of the ones that make it. Because my final thoughts. use trading as the vessel to buy your freedom back. Okay, we've given it away. We have to survive in this society by making money. You've given it away, and you can use trading to buy it back. Use the freedom to improve all areas of your life, your health, your mindset, purpose, mission, all of that. Also, keep your trading systematic. Okay, block out the times, have set sessions. More time on the charts is going to equal less money. Remember, the mission isn't just trading to make money, okay? It's building the life that you absolutely love, you're excited for, and you're grateful for every day. That's what you're here for. That's what trading can give you. You need money, okay? You need money. You do. You need money. You need probably less than you think, but more than you have right now to live a very good, comfortable life. Everything on top of that is extra and fun and amazing, and don't ever feel bad about wanting to pursue money, but realize that it's the tool to create and craft a life that you love, okay? Thank you for joining me for another video. I appreciate all of your attention. I appreciate all of the comments I have received on my last video. I'm incredibly grateful, and I'm happy to have connected with more like-minded traders. I'm very grateful to be able to connect and chat with people who are trading for a reason similar to mine, which is about that freedom and about having control of your life and providing for your family and just living an incredible experience. That's what I'm here for. And I'm coming at you pretty hard this week with some videos. I've got at least 3 more lined up, including one that's a strategy specific video. So make sure you do the thing, the like, the subscribe, the comment, whatever else it is that you meant to do here. And I will see you in the next one.